Hello, welcome to the New Super Review here on Top TV. My name is Williams Abule. I'm so excited to have you join us here this very beautiful church day in the month of August 2022. If this is the first time you're seeing this video, well, you're in the right place and in the right at the right time. This is where we're bringing you the headlines across newspapers around Nigeria, and of course we get to talk about the headlines and have you join us in doing so. So don't hesitate to drop your comments and reactions on the comment section. We'd love to hear what you think about these headlines. And with me to do that this morning, it's Mr. Sonny Gomorai. You are welcome to the show. Thank you so much for making it here. Yes, and we'll be doing so, but we'll begin with the Vanguard newspaper. Let's go straight and see what the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper is saying this very beautiful day here in the city of Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Nigeria. The headlines reads from the top part. It says, insecurity beyond what one nation can fight. Buhari, insecurity beyond what one nation can fight. Buhari. That story is on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also see here power generation drops again to 3,675 megawatt. You find details of that on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Other stories here on the Vanguard we see as the major headline: 2023 Lalong Oshiomhole lead APC's campaign team as crisis keeps PDP in limbo. Keyamo Alake Ononuga head media team. Crisis stalls PDP's campaign cancel. Reconciliation campaign cancel top agenda as PDP Board of Trustees orders meet today. Kachiku names Kanu campaign spokesman. All right. We also see here CVR extension. INEC turns down 70 CSO's request, says we can no longer extend voters registration. Also, we take this very last one. Train attack. Terrorists release 5 more kidnap victims. All right. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about some of the stories here. Mr. Sonny, which of the stories would you like to react to here on Vanguard newspaper? We see there's a lot of stories here. Yeah. Pick your own story and react.
I think I want to talk about Oshiomhole.
Okay, interesting. That's the APC
yes,
new committee.
You know, I'm surprised that Atiku and APC is picking Oshiomhole to be their campaign, to be on the front line, because
that's Tinubu. Sorry,
I mean Tinubu.
Yeah,
I was thinking that by now Oshiomhole should have taken the back seat with all the drama that happened. You know how they removed him as chairman of the party and all that. So I don't see anything new that he's bringing on the table. You know, but they should have a good reason why they are bringing him back to the front line. You know, because you know he had a lot of issues with the party. Yeah. You know, before now.
Yeah. So, but then don't you feel that, or don't you think that Oshiomhole will be able to sell, the candidates of the APC very well?
I don't think so, because Oshiomhole in the heart of a lot of Nigerians is in their bad record. You know, with what happened with the present governor of the state, the drama that happened, you know, the godfatherism and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So, and you can see now that Nigeria are clamoring for a new breed of politicians. So bringing him back, I don't think he'll be able to win the heart of Nigerians.
Right. So I heard someone say that the APC this time around are just, getting it wrong in their choices in order to, make a good, campaign for themselves. That, the person was just making an assertion that in everything they have been getting it wrong in their presidential candidate, that it doesn't agree, the choice of candidate. That was just his opinion, and another opinion is that he was projecting was
because they are still bringing the same old crop of people, and Nigerians are beginning to say, oh, we don't want this set anymore. We want to see new faces. We want to see new bloods. But they keep still bringing the same recycled people. So that's why I'm saying that is a no-no.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on to the next paper, and that will be the Nigerian Tribune. And on the Nigerian Tribune here, We'll start from the top. It says here 233 local government areas, 32 states prone to flooding. NEMA. You find that story on page 22. I think that news is something that the federal government needs to take very critically. I mean, in 2012, there were a lot of warnings that there will be a lot of flooding and it could lead to displacement of many people from their homes. But the federal government were not proactive enough, and when it came down, a lot of states were affected.
You know, in Nigeria here, we have a lot of ministries that they are just there, in quotes, but they are not active. You know, they're just there like a figurehead. You know, like even the the people that read the weather,
meteorological
department. You understand? They will come up and say, oh, there will be thunderstorm here. They will give these statistics, but our government don't go into action. You know, for NEMA, for instance, you know, every year NEMA comes early to give projections. They will say, okay, this part of the country will be flooded. There will be, and even the state government that have SEMA, you know, because the state wing of the emergencies are called SEMA. They don't even do anything about it. It's until when the flood comes they start calling NEMA, you know. And I think NEMA is really trying, because most times they come with the relief materials, because they have store and warehouses in every state where they in the zones, you know, where they keep their relief materials and all those things. They do all their statistics and all those stuff. But the state, most times the challenge they have is from the state government. You understand? Because when they bring these statistics, they include your state. What they are saying is that as a state governor, you are supposed to swing into action, start making, if it's drainages, if it's makeshift buildings, or you are going to create for the victims and all those things. They don't do anything until when they start reacting is when these things come knocking on the door.
And it's very sad. Even here in River State, you know, River State is one of those states that are, you know, every year is mostly prone to flooding.
River State and Bayelsa.
Yes, they're very prone to flooding. But you find out that during the dry season, the state government do very minimal things to actually prepare
even
for
when there's a warning.
Yes, even when there's a warning, you find out that they do very little or nothing at all to prepare for the rainy season. And when the rain comes, they wait until it overwhelms them before they begin to react, which is where NEMA comes in. And then they begin to, you know, send relief material. Even the relief materials that they send are always very slow. You know, you find out that people affected are always complaining. Most of them are displaced for months before they are able to go back. Farmlands are destroyed.
I don't think it's slow, because I happen to know so much about NEMA, you know, because my elder brother works with NEMA. You understand? And is a team head when it comes to reacting to disaster. At least I've been very close with them. I've done some jobs with them. They respond on time, but the problem is from the state chapters, because they cannot come into your state without the state government giving them access. Even when they bring these relief materials, they don't distribute.
They hand it over to the
they hand over. So most times it's the bureaucracy within the system changing. And let me shock you. Do you know that sometimes when they even bring these things from the warehouse, it doesn't even get to the people?
Yes, it doesn't.
It doesn't get to the people.
So that's where you see a lot of these, you know, affected persons complain so much. You hear the complaints every time, these things. For this year, 2022, we're hoping that they will act differently. You know, all the ministries involved in, you know, flood control should act differently, but we don't know whether that will be the case. Like in River State here where I live, I haven't heard so much as to how they are prepared.
You're not here because you are living in Port Harcourt.
Yes,
you know.
Yes, but then these are things that the awareness that, you know, we should have. People should know what you're doing about, because the last time in 2012 when this thing really got out of hand, it affected everybody. For you that the flood didn't affect, you have people coming to stay with you as refugees for some months, and that will increase your expense and all the other. So one way or the other, everybody is in this thing with them. People that are living in those local government areas that are flood prone. All right, we're moving on with the headlines. We're still on the Nigerian Tribune, and so we'll continue with the headlines there. All right, moving on, we see here as the major headline, it says terror attacks end this madness. Buhari orders security forces. End this madness. Buhari orders security forces resign if security challenges are overwhelming. CSOs tell Buhari Governors are Nigeria's problems. Falana. Gunmen invade Imo community, kills 7 security guards. Details of all of these stories you'll find on page 2, 3, and 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. We also see here Bello shots brutals, bans wearing of face masks in Kogi State. That details of that you find on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Moving on, we also see here NDLEA bust in Kurumiri labs in Lagos. Anambra arrests 2 barons. Harry recovered 258.74 kg met precursor chemicals in VGC raid. All right, then we also see train attack, gunmen release 5 additional hostages. 15 Enugu abducted farmers released after 2 million naira ransom pay. You find details of that very story on page 26 and 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, Mr. Sunny, you want to react to the NDLEA bust in Lagos State? You know, they were able to take down a Met production lab. That's locally, the Met, you know, is locally known as in Burumiri here in the south. They call it that.
What's that?
A crystal Met. It's called crystal Met.
Okay.
And it's a hard drug that totally, I mean, it has a very deadly effect on young people. But the NDLA has been able to, you know, bring a chemical lab producing these Met down, and they found one in Lagos and both and the other in Enugu State. What's your reaction to that story?
I think the Nigerian NDLA, they're doing a whole,
Yeah, they've been really active.
yes, they've been doing a whole lot of job in terms of illegal drugs production centers.
Yeah.
You know, so I give it up to them, and the NDLA is one force that I would say they're credible, and they've over the years keep up to their name, you know, in terms of crime control.
Yes, I must say kudos to the Colonel Buba Mara, retired. He's doing a great job. I mean, this is a big one for the NDLA, because I mean, we've seen videos in the past. Some months ago, you know, there were videos circulating online on the internet about how Miri were destroying a lot of young people. I remember back then in some villages around, you know, the southeast here, there were a lot of orders by chiefs and people living in those areas saying that anybody caught with Miri, you know, would be tied and flogged for days, just to deter them from going into taking those things. And I also saw in this very viral video of a lady that's into drug rehabilitation, and she was just talking about the implications of how this crystal Met, you know, affects the lives of very young people, most people in the villages and, you know, suburbs of cities, how this thing kill people and how it makes them go mental. It's very, very sad. And for me, this is a very, very big break for the NDLA, and I must commend the leadership that's in person of Colonel Buba Mara. He's doing a very great job. Since he came into office, the drug war has really been at its peak, and he has been able to sustain the tempo till now, and that's a very good one coming in, a very good news. All right, we'll move on to other papers, and that will be Daily Sun newspaper for today, the third day in the month of August 2022. We'll start from the beginning part of that paper. It says here, gunmen kill 7 security guards, injure 2 others in Imo, block Enugu Port Harcourt highway, abduct scores of passengers, wound 2 soldiers, set military van ablaze. Also, as the major headline here on the Daily Sun newspaper, you see here, fight against terrorism. Buhari gives military full powers, 6 foreign help as policemen flood Abuja. Onayekon urges Nigerians to join forces. Details of that you'll find on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also here we see strike, no justification. No justification keeping students at home for 5 months. SGF, government officials sabotaging negotiations. ASU speaking there. Details of that you find on page 3 and 27 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also on the Daily Sun here, I see a very, very touching picture here of the 5 abductees that were recently released. That is the victims of the Kaduna Abuja train attack. We see pictures of them, with the facilitator of their release here on the Daily Sun newspaper, and you can see how terrible they look. It tells you their story, and that is what I'll be asking you, Mr. Sonny. How do you feel about the fact that they've released a good number of the victims still in captivity, and recently they released 5 more, and they have been talking about their harrowing experiences at the kidnappers den. How do you react to their release?
I think this terrorist thing, I just feel this government is not sincere in fighting terrorism. And there's a whole lot of suspicion that is attached to this kidnapping trend that is going right now in Nigeria and with this APC government. Because Nigerians believe that this present government knows so much about what is going on. And when people call someone that is an abducted for ransom, they call it through a medium. And in Nigeria right now, our phone lines have been registered. You understand? It's not like they don't call if they call from space. So we feel people, even me, I believe that this government has know where these people are hiding. You understand? Because they're not calling from space. Even if they're using a cellular phone that is connected to the satellite, they can still track it. You understand? So they know where these people are, and I believe they are not sincere. You understand? Because even if you check out the history behind this Kaduna train attack and how they've been releasing these people, you can still link it up to something. You understand? You can still put 1 + 1 and say this is 2. You understand? So these people, they are not in space. You understand? And don't forget, we have a joint JTF team from ECOWAS right now that is supposed to be patrolling all the borders, the Sahara of the West. You understand? So they have intels. You understand? So and sometimes, because even some of the videos they release, you will see that the military, that sometimes there are places where they want to go in, they'll have a superior tell them stand back. Because I don't understand where a country like Nigeria, you say you're fighting terrorism, you now arrest a terrorist and keep the terrorist in prison. I don't understand. Yeah,
it's a very, very disturbing one. But
all over the world, terrorists, when they arrest terrorists, they kill them on the spot. They fire them on the spot. Even when they take them to prison, they kill them. So I don't understand where you say you're arresting a terrorist and you go and put them in prison.
Well,
I don't understand.
Well, for me, I just feel I am just about the pain of these victims. They've really gone through a lot.
Whether it's banditry, whether it's kidnapping, whether it's terrorism, for me, I group all of them as the same.
It's the same.
When you arrest them, kill them.
But then they have to go through a court process. They cannot just kill them because of human rights.
What is court process? How many Nigerians have died?
Human rights laws, and mind you, killing, even in war, you don't just kill. You don't just kill. That's why we have prisoners of war and all of those.
So what is the Senate waiting for to come up with such law? What are they waiting? What are they?
These laws.
Okay, look for instance now. Look at the Abuja jailbreak. Do you know that because of this jailbreak now, the senators are beginning to speak up because they all live in Abuja, and see that from today paper you see that Abuja now they've deployed a lot of police to Abuja, to almost all the streets in Abuja. Now they're beginning to say they want to impeach the president, because before now, have you heard them speak in this magnitude? It's because it's driving home. The heat is coming home now, and they now know that even the Abuja where is allegedly that safe haven, there's no more safe now. You see now that they're beginning to speak up. Is this supposed to be so?
From one of the accounts of one of the abductees that was recently released from captivity, I mean, you need to hear him talk and you just know that these people in captivity have gone through the worst in life.
See,
I mean, they stayed for months with very limited food, with limited health care, with limited, the mental torture, the physical torture and everything is something nobody should go through.
Even though I don't want to be biased, because of, as a reason of my job, I just feel that this government, we've had enough. They should just They should just leave.
That is
because,
an old story.
Yes, they should just leave, because let us try somebody else. Because
between now and when they will leave office, a lot can happen.
Yes.
A lot can happen. That's what we are still trying to hold this government accountable for. Saying
we've lost count of the number of people that have died in Nigeria since this government.
Yes, agreeable. I mean, they have really failed in terms of security. That's an obvious.
Kidnapping is now a business.
Yes, that's an obvious truth. They have failed in terms of security. The economy is in shambles. They have failed in many ways.
They failed in every way.
In many ways, or
they failed in everywhere.
But all we're saying that despite that, let us at least have the slightest sense of security while we're still here. With the level of insecurity, one would say that, or ask the question of, are we even going to get to electioneering period? Are we going to have an election?
That's another fear.
It's a very good question. This government should answer us. Are we going to end up having this election with this increased threats every day? Now the threat on the seat of power is even louder than never before. Are we going to have an electioneering year? These are questions that this government needs to ask between now and when they're going to leave office. It's a very, very long time. Few months, yes, but in terms of possible happenings, it's a very short time. It's a very short time. So, as a government, they need to step up their game, not just in Abuja, the seat of power, in every single state, so that Nigerians can freely come out and express.
How many policemen do you see here in Port Harcourt? Now they've moved all the police to Abuja to guide them.
It's very
one
disturbing.
Senator moving, you see like 20, 30 police, army, everything, just one person.
Yeah, so it's very disturbing, but I hope that they will step up to their responsibilities, like I always say. And you too, you have the chance to step up to your responsibility by, of course, now that the registration for the voters cards,
pick up your card when it's time.
Ensure that you go and collect your card when it is time to pick up the cards. And then it doesn't also stop there. You need to also get involved in voting by coming out to vote when the election starts. Make sure you follow through by checking your polling unit, and then of course on the election day you come out to vote. That's how your voice can be heard. That's how we can cause that change that we always talk about here on the Newspaper Review. Well, that's all we'll be taking today. I want to thank you very much, Mr. Sonny, for coming. And to our viewers, thank you so much for staying with us up to this time. Don't forget to connect with us on all our social media platforms, and of course on this YouTube channel. Subscribe, and of course don't forget to turn on the notification. That's how you know when we put up the next episode of this program. All right, till next time I come your way again, my name is William Sabule, and this has been the Newspaper Review.